This is the first part of our second episode of SSPC Talks. When you finish this one, click the link in the description or the direct link at the end of this video to watch the second part on Ebba's channel. Thank you and enjoy. Welcome back. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy that we got to talk to you again. I'm so glad. I guess just like a quick rundown again, if anyone hasn't watched the first episode. Who are you and what do you do at Star Stable?
Oh, my name is Stacy, and I am the game director for Star Stable Online.
Awesome. You got Baby Yoda, I just noticed in the background. That's so cute. That just distracted me so much. Oh my god, he's so cute.
I did that because the blur stopped working. I updated my graphics card driver, and the blur stopped working in meetings, and I was like, I have to put something fun in the background.
He's so cute. He's enough. He's doing so well. Well, last time we spoke in February, you said you were gathering like a little package of updates and stuff to bring forward to the rest of the team. And since then, we have actually seen a lot of those changes being implemented into the game. We have like hiding your horse in character, which was presented as a type of like video mode. And we also have you can hide other players in photo mode. We can change the time of day. Can you just talk us through the process of what happened after we last spoke, basically? What did you do? What did you do?
Yeah, I'm trying to think back now because, oh my gosh, it's been a long year. So it's basically going back to the team and kind of bringing up some of these features that we wanted to make sure that we add. I know that like changing day-night was a huge one for me. I really wanted to get that done. A lot of players have asked for that. And suggesting it to the teams to work on. We're working a little bit different in the coming year. Like we've already planned what we're going to do and our priorities for the coming year, and that's going to be what we try and focus on, rather than kind of we used to do it more quarter by quarter. So we may kind of reevaluate, but now we have a lot of cool things that we want to work on next year, and we're trying to make sure that we focus on those. So before it was kind of going back and bringing suggestions and thoughts, and the team would say, okay, what are our priorities this quarter? And I would say, well, I have some ideas for you. But this year we're going into it for ideally a full year scope in advance. There's some big stuff that we want to work on. So.
Yeah. I was going to ask, is there something that you would like to see updated? Like, is there something that you're very interested to see? I guess you can't spoil it, but like in the coming year?
I can talk a little bit about it because I have just finished writing the 2022 year in review blog where I kind of go over everything we did in 2022, and then I start touching on stuff we want to do in 2023. And I am by far ready to start talking about these things. So the biggest thing for me, and the biggest thing that we'll probably work on next year, is an inventory revamp. So it'll be a complete overhaul of the inventory system, which unblocks a lot of this content that players really want to see, such as a bigger wardrobe, like more space and redone, or the horse slots. Like players ask all the time for ear bonnets and breastplates and all of that. We cannot do that until we have the more slots on the horse, and that has to be created. So that's blocked by inventory revamp. And then another big thing that is maybe number 2 on our priority list is home stable customization. So that we want to do as well, but that cannot be done until we do the inventory revamp. So
that's been my number 1 dream update for so long.
I find this so funny. We can basically end this interview here because like you just covered like a lot of the questions we had at the end.
Well, so I'm so excited because that's something we finally have been able to prioritize. God. Now, to be fair, like I don't know that my stable customization will necessarily happen next year. Even if it does, it would be towards the end because that revamp has to happen first. And I don't know at this point what that entails. But the reason we're doing it is because we want to do the home stable customization and the add more wardrobe space and stuff. So that is the roadmap currently.
That is awesome.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I'm super pumped. My wardrobe is full. Are you kidding? I need more space.
I can only imagine.
Personal.
I actually did see that. I saw that on Instagram. Somebody, like an outfit account, I think, they posted and they were like, oh, I'm so excited for all these new sets that they released. Unfortunately, I literally have to sell things to actually fit them into my wardrobe. And that's like, whoa. I guess speaking of like updates and feedback then, Halloween has now come and gone, and I think it's safe to say that there were a lot of opinions, both good and bad, of course. I think people seemed to be quite especially, I guess, displeased or disappointed in like the unclear instructions and the low odds of getting the blue pumpkin. as well as the tornado and like soul shard grind and the ratio and stuff, and also the fact that they initially gave character XP. And I guess, like, what was the internal dialogue at the time in the company? Like, was this something you'd expected, or was it like we ran out of time and then all these problems arose, or what happened basically?
Ellen, more so on the reaction, because I was away during production for this project. So I was on vacation, and then that's when I came back and had COVID. So I was trying to catch up on everything that had happened while I was away. And that just happened to be in time for the release. So I think we have what I refer to as a festival framework that we're building, which kind of establishes the guidelines and the structure of how festivals should work in Star Stable Online. And I think for Halloween, we ventured a little too far away from that framework. And I always applaud the team for trying new things or wanting to do something a little bit different or shake things up. I think in this case, it maybe went a little bit too much in a different direction than what we probably should have. And obviously seeing a lot of the reactions was disappointing, because the team has one thought in their head of how everything is going to play out. And then when it doesn't, they start to feel really, they feel bad about it, of course. Nobody wants to intentionally make a miserable experience.
No, of course.
So it's more about figuring out, okay, what exactly now is it that players don't like? What do they like? Is there something that maybe we just need to do differently next time? The soul shards, for instance, are phased out. We're moving towards a token system, so those won't be returning. And I think, for instance, the pumpkin was just for our players, especially way too difficult of a grind. Like the way to get it, the percentage of getting it was way too low. And we had talked about mitigating that in certain ways, like maybe it needs to be increased odds over the weeks. So they had planned potentially for the last week to have increased odds. Maybe the more you put in, your odds need to increase. So there's different ways that you can mitigate that from happening. So if we were ever to do something similar to that in the future, there's other ways we could play around with it, so it's not quite as drastic, I guess, to the point where almost nobody gets it, because it can be fun to have something so unique that not a lot of people have it, but at the same time, given our player demographic, I think we went too far in that direction, really. So it's just kind of, we had a big retro where we talked about everything, we went through feedback, thoughts on what we didn't do well and what we did do well, and we have a lot of learnings for that going forward, absolutely.
But I think it was interesting, because usually whenever there's like a collecting, something to collect, I guess, you usually have the people who play like almost all day and they end up getting something really fast. But it was fascinating because we were on like the second week and nobody had seen it. We didn't even think it was in the game yet, which I thought was like interesting, I guess. It was also a little bit confusing, because it was like, okay, is it intentional? Is it gonna happen? Is it like, what are we actually looking for, But I think it was a good idea to increase it over the week. But like, a question about that though, was it, you said that it was planned, was it planned to have it increase over the week, or was that something they ended up realizing? Sorry, I'm not sure I understood.
Both. So the plan from the beginning, from what I understood from the team, was that the final week the odds were always going to increase no matter what. But then we did it additionally, I think it was after those first 2 weeks, when we kind of saw like, okay, this isn't working, we need to make a change. So we did that, I think it was week 3. We changed it again.
That's interesting. But was speaking of the tornadoes and the soul shards and the collecting there, I guess some people were displeased at the fact that you needed a lot of soul shards, but I also feel like it wasn't that hard to get them, considering you had the option, I guess, to kind of grind the soul shards for the full hour, or for at least for the 20 minutes, which was something that was revealed last year. But the team, at least in like in emails to customer support, it was stated that it wasn't, nobody was going to get banned or anything for it. So I guess it was almost like, I don't want to say allowed, but it was at least known of in the team. And I understand not fixing it because it was like the last year of Halloween, or it was the last year having the soul shards. But the character XP, was that intentional, or was it like a mistake that slipped through somewhere?
Was kind of an unknown. I had no idea that there was that was happening. So that's when I kind of said, okay, we need to pull back, because I did not anticipate players to be getting so much XP from this. So I didn't mind that they were able to kind of keep doing the activity, even though that wasn't how it was intended. Like, that's fine. People were frustrated. They wanted to be able to collect the soul shards. Absolutely, keep it that way. But we did pull back on the XP, because that was not, part of it.
Yeah, so that wasn't intentional then. It was, because I think that was, people were questioning that, like, they know about the repeat bug, but they've still chosen, like, if it had only been able to be done once an hour, then 5 XP, okay, but I guess that was what I saw a lot of people commenting on, like, don't they know this is a thing? But so it was just a mistake playing up then. Yeah, exactly. We've been kind of cautious with the XP because of the changes that are coming with the horse progression system. So ideally, eventually, the player stats will stop at level 25. So you can keep leveling, but there won't be more stats added, because we're getting to the point where the horse animations are going to break if players keep getting faster. So we need to put a stop on it. So that will be rolling out early next year. So you can still level up. Players are still, I know there's players level 25, they'll reach 26, 27, but as a temporary solution for now, we will remove the stats added after 25. Okay, interesting.
So now we're in like a tight kind of, okay, we can't let anyone get above 25 until we implement this change.
Stop.
Yeah.
That's interesting then. Because it was actually something we wanted to talk about at the end as well with the leveling system, so I won't go into it too much, but that's very interesting. You're getting ahead of yourself, Stacy. Have you read our script?
Sorry, very excited.
But going back to Halloween then, like, how does an event like this move forward now? What happens to next year? Is it a specific team that are already looking into it then, or is it like the people who worked on it this year are doing it again and trying to like incorporate the criticism and stuff, or how does it move forward?
Yeah, so from my perspective, from direction standpoint, like I said, we're building that festival framework. So everything that we learned from this Halloween should carry forward to next Halloween. We're going through a bit of a reorganization right now with the teams and how we're structured, because we have obviously different teams that work on every aspect of the game you can imagine. And we're going to restructure a bit so that we're encompassing the entire player journey from beginning to end, whether it's acquisition, onboarding, through. And so we have what's called a domain that's going to focus on the continuous player experience. So festivals will be handled within that domain, and we're moving towards, instead of like a team working on something, it'll be more project focused. So there will be a Halloween festival project, and then who works on that will be determined at the time of like who's available in the domain, who wants to work on it, etc. So that way people can work on different types of things. So this domain, for instance, would be primarily quests and festivals, or the random content you see on the weekly releases. So what they will do, and that's kind of why the festival framework is so important, because it could be different people working on it next year. It could be the same, it could be different, so that they understand like, okay, this is what a festival needs to be, this is what works, this is what doesn't work, these are my guidelines, this is our direction, and then they'll pick it up from there and go.
In general, I feel like this year has been a very, I want to say like a progressive year for the game. It feels like we've taken a big step forward. We've had like a big change in production time for quests, and I feel like we've had a lot more communication and like a stronger social media presence almost. Like it just feels like you're hearing a lot more from the game. What is it? Is there something you can pinpoint, like what has changed? Is it this revamp that you talked about? Has it been like a structural change in the company?
I think it's me, if I'm honest.
Hell yeah.
You guys have talked to me. I would rather tell you everything and anything that I have right now. And when we started doing the blog posts, the first one we did was of the Dark Riders. And that was me saying, I'm going to announce the Dark Riders. Would you like me to do it on my personal page, or would you like me to do it in a blog post? So I've been kind of pushing, and that goes even down into the teams or in the projects. When they're working on a project, no one should be working on it in isolation. When you get to a certain point, you need to show everybody else. You need to show it to the other teams. You need to show it so that we can start talking about these things. So nothing should ever be developed in secret. So there's been a big push on not only making sure everybody in the company knows what's going on, but our players as well. We should be having roadmaps. We need to have blog posts. We need to push for that. So I say it's from me, but it's obviously an effort from a lot of people. But that's something I truly believe in, is more transparency in what we're doing with the players.
Well, that's really good. I'm happy to hear that, because it really is, it does make a big change knowing that, like you say, the transparency, just knowing what's going on, what can we expect, what's happening, and it makes me very, very excited. I think for the same reason as like people like spoilers and stuff like that, because it's like, oh, this is coming, and it's like you hype it up and it's like so exciting to see it finally come into the game and stuff. And I think the blog posts were a very good addition, if I may like say something like that. It's very good.
Yeah, I still get so excited every time I see a new one is out, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to read it right now.
Yes.
And also,
we have 2 more coming very soon. There's a Player 2.0 one, and the one about the XP conversation that I was just telling you guys about. So stay tuned.
So exciting. Yes.
But sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah. Also, when we like did the last update on the latest roadmap, it's always like, okay, when is the next roadmap? I want to know what's gonna happen. It's always so exciting.
Yeah, the roadmaps are a big, like, I guess it is like a carrot on a stick, you know. It's like, okay, I just gotta make it to these weeks, and then it's like, what's next? Oh my god. It makes me so excited.
Oh, I'm glad that they're appreciated. That's really good to hear.
It's so much fun.
We spend a lot of time on those blog posts. I'm really glad that you read them and like them.
Yes.
Yes, I do.
I've like dropped work and like stopped to read it and then gone back to work, because I'm like, I need to see what's being said this month. Another like I guess social media presence is you started a podcast this fall, which is very exciting, and I really enjoyed listening to it. And in the latest episode, right now I'm terrible with names, and I apologize, but I believe her name was Anne and Harry, who they were, I believe, writers and designers. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, Anne is our lead narrative writer, and Hari is one of our game designers. Yeah,
okay, good. I actually remember. And they said that they don't think people realize how small the team that are actually like working on the game or whatever actually are. Do you have like, is there any way you could put it into perspective, like how many people are actively working on like game content, if that makes sense?
Yeah,
is there like a number?
So I am currently helping that team with their planning. And so for instance, we have coming up in January, we will start production on Equestrian Festival and the next primary quest. So we're looking at, on the primary quest, there would be a writer, 2 designers, and 2 artists.
Oh, that's so little. My god.
And it would be similar for the festival. It would be a similar amount of people. Yeah, a writer, two designers, 1 or 2 designers, and then 2 artists who also need to lend support to another project as well. But
my god, there really is not a lot of people, and it really I really understand why it sometimes feels like it takes so long. But I mean, this year has been, I feel like it's been pretty fast, I guess. Like the quests have been coming out quite rapidly, and it never feels, I haven't really felt like it's a lackluster update or anything, like talking about the main story quests now, because it's like they really feel fulfilling, I guess. It's like it just makes me really excited.
The last one was my favorite so far. It was so good.
They were so happy to hear the reactions, because like we said, it's a small team. They put in a lot of work, like it's a long production time, and you don't always see the payoff, because sometimes the amount of players that can do a quest, we look to see how many of them actually do the quest. And so sometimes that percentage isn't always as high as you would hope it would be. Like, you want everyone to do the quest. But of course, not everyone is always available to do them. And then to see those numbers go up, and to see like your work finally pay off, with people being so excited and not saying, well, is this it? I wish there was more, and I wish it was this, but people seem to genuinely enjoy it. So they were super excited. So that's really good to hear.
We've almost reached 2023, and I mean, it seems to be a very exciting year, and I mean, just what you've mentioned now, it's like, that made it even better. So if we disregard what you've already said, I guess the main like attraction for next year has been the talk about the updated characters. Is there anything you can tell us about them? Is there like, what are we looking at? Is it like early next year, late next year? Is it 2024? Have we been like duped?
It should be 2024.
Thank you.
No, not at all. We've been very anxious to get it out. I think right now the thing that's taking the most time is fixing the animations.
Yeah.
It's been a bigger struggle than we had anticipated. That, as well as adjusting all of the clothes. Like, that's been a huge pain. But they've made some changes to the body shapes. They've made adjustments to the clothes, so those are all good. So right now it's animations. We were fortunate we were able to retarget the player one animations to the new player. But a lot of them didn't work out as well as we'd hoped. So a lot of it is going in and improving what's there so that we're at least as good as player one, ideally better. So they're improving some of the animations. We've set up like a prioritized list of what needs to be done first for animations. And then we are hoping to do another beta round with our ambassadors specifically, just so they can get a refreshed look. Because even when we released the beta before, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't like correct. So players were looking at it and we were like, oh, but like the shoulders, that's an animation thing, or like that clothing's not fit correctly. So now we've made those adjustments and we want the ambassadors to take another look. We were hoping to have Player 2.0 out early next year. It might be pushed a little bit, but it shouldn't be, ideally we don't want to go into 2024. I don't see that happening. So, I can't confirm a date or anything at this point, but our goal is next year, absolutely.
That's good. That's promising. And I mean, never say never. Of course, things can happen. But it's nice to see her that.
I just jinxed the whole thing.
2025. That's when we're gonna start looking at it.
God.
That's good. That's good to hear, and I'm happy to hear it. And it was very exciting to see the updated characters because it's obviously such a big step from what we have now, and it's hard, I feel like, to get adjusted to it. But it's also very exciting because it's. I mean, you're used to the characters now, but then you look at like some of the new horses, and it's like they're so good, and then the characters just there.
Or like the newer NPCs.
Oh yes,
like, they look so good. And
it's like a cutscene, and then it's like like when we were positioned placed in between the Dark Riders, and it's like them, two more, and then it's us in the middle looking.
We're just like dead inside.
Yes, I remember that. There was like a panning shot of, across their faces, and we're like. It's just...
She's a mess.
Yes, she's like so
She's
dead
been
inside.
Through a lot, okay.
She was just left, like her friends just left her through a portal, and she's like, "By these bad guys," and she's like, "I don't care anymore. It's fine." Oh man, but I guess that answers what was gonna be my next question then, like what has been done since beta testing. So I guess it's mainly. Obviously it's not only, but I guess it's the animations left then, and then we're going to be seeing it 2.0. Or are the ambassadors going to be able to post about it again?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
Blessing my feed.
Again, that's another transparency thing that I'm like, okay, but we have to be able to, they have to be able to share this when we do beta tests and stuff. Absolutely.
Well, there was also talk about the horse bonding and unlocking new features as you level up, like gates and leading the horse and stuff like that, being able to train multiple horses in the same race. How did this idea come out? Is this a recent plan, or has it been something in development for a really long time? Or
it feels like now it's been in development a really long time. I had a meeting about it this morning actually, so it's very on topic about our when we're planning to release, and maybe there's some things we split out or whatever, but we're hoping to have it out before Equestrian Festival, really. But this has been, I mean, a lot of these were things in our backlog for a very long time, like calling your horse or having your horse follow you. Those are things we've always wanted to do, but it always comes down to capacity and priority and how can we get this done. So essentially I have created game pillars from a direction standpoint, and they are areas of focus for the game. So we have we have horse bonding, which is a huge one, and I think we don't necessarily focus on enough, and that's kind of why I pushed for it. Like, we need more with the horses. Like, there's more that we could do there. They're kind of the most important thing that we offer, and we don't do enough with them.
I mean, it is Star Stable. It's not Star Player, I guess. So it's like,
yeah. Although player and community is another pillar that we have too. And then the third is story and fantasy. So those are kind of the big areas that make up Star Stable. And so we have to make sure that we're feeding into each of these pillars because that's what makes us who we are. And so we started talking about horse bonding and what does that mean? And that's how we got the age and the gender last year. We got this past year. I'm already in 2023. The horse purchasing window was part of it. And then we started talking about, okay, like what is the experience of leveling up your horse? What is it today and what do we want it to be going forward? So they've been developing it for quite some time now. It started earlier in the year, end of last year, even. For quite some time, and we've broken it down into pieces. So the next piece that we're going to be getting is horse progression, and that's how you're leveling with your horse and how you unlock those features. And then going forward, we want to look at personalities for the horses, and then ideally a prestige system as well. So those would be next steps.
I'm super excited for all that.
Having personality, are you kidding me? That's the best thing I've ever heard. My god.
Yeah.
Oh,
yes,
like,
I love that.
Just like off the top of my head, like a personality could be that they're lazy, and it's like you get the the feature where you have to keep tapping W to keep them going forward.
Yeah.
That could be like he was lazy, so you have to keep like kicking him forward.
So that comes
you
back.
just want to annoy people.
It would be cool though. I mean, I'm assuming you'd like.
I mean, it is
to
a cool idea.
them.
Yeah.
You'd have to pick it. That's the thing.
It's
Like
not
we didn't want it to be anything to be forced on people, and that's kind of why we took out the colds, the punishment for colds for certain breeds, because we don't want things to be punishing unless you want to choose it to be that way. Like if you want your horse to be lazy and you want to have to keep hitting W, that's your choice and that's your person. But that's not something I don't want to inflict things on people that make it a negative experience.
Yeah.
You could do the opposite too, where it's like that you have to keep it in or else it will go faster.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
And it would actually be really helpful for people that like to role play riding lessons, because then you actually have to interact with the horse.
Yeah.
Like it can actually do stuff, Like
it'd be so
it's kind
cool.
of fun.
Man, I just got so many ideas. It's like yes.
Nice. I'm inviting you guys to the discovery sessions.
We'll be there.
Yes. Oh, that's so exciting. I'm so excited about it. But that's fun then, because I was going to ask like an estimate to when we will see it, but somewhat like in the first quarter of the year then maybe? Because when's
the horse progression
at least part of it.
Yeah. And that's the part where we've changed the leveling system. So you unlock different things throughout leveling. You earn XP in different ways. There's passive XP gain.
I love passive XP.
So that you get XP not just through racing, so you can get
so
it
much fun.
in a lot of different ways.
That really brings out a whole different dimension to the game, because it's like some people I like to train my horses. I like having them all fast so I can pick and choose, but so many people just don't, because there's not really a reward for doing it except for getting like shillings, I guess, if you want to earn some money. It's like you don't really get anything from it, I guess. So that's very interesting. It's gonna really
it's like you get rewarded for even hanging out with your horse, even if you're not training. So let's say you're at an event with your club for an hour, and you're riding one of your horses, then you will get some reward for it, even though you didn't do races. It's really nice.
This is this is so good. I'm so excited.
It's gonna be like something that pops up that says like your horse is having a great time. You've earned XP or so, like I think they've made it a bit more holistic as well. So
my heart. Please,
but we need to do
cute.
like I said, we need to do we're doing like an ambassador test with that as well. So. But so the progression should be early next year, and then we need to do discovery for the next parts. So those won't be next year. We'll probably iterate on progression and look forward at the next one.
That's so cool. I'm so excited for that. Jesus.
Yeah.
My god.
That's so good to hear.
Happy. I guess just really quickly then, I just want to ask about the summer festival then, because I'm assuming it's not quite in the works yet then, if it's you're starting with the equestrian festival now, but I guess it's gonna be the first year next year where we have 4 major festivals / events kind of thing. Like, if you know a little bit about what's happening in the summer festival, which one is your favorite? Can you pick a favorite event? Is it winter, spring, summer, Halloween? What's your bias?
That's a good question, because personally I'm a huge Halloween fan, but that at the same time, I love winter in the game. I love the winter village. It's beautiful. So I'm battling right now between those two. But we'll see, because we'd like to, like you said, we're doing a summer festival. I think the base is going to be the beach festival, and
Yeah.
we'll expand on that in some way, shape, or form, because I think the team did a lot of great work for the beach festival. Does it need to be specific to beach? No, probably not. There's more that we can do. So I mean, I took a lot of good pictures at Beach Festival too, so
It was very fun. That was
All
a very
of
fun
them.
event, actually. Because I hadn't played when that was happening. I'd never experienced the Beach Festival before, so it was very fun to see it for the first time. And like, and I guess people said it was a bit updated, and I understand that, but it was still like really fun. It was a fun event. I really liked it, actually.
Yeah,
Really
I
good.
enjoyed it. I liked that there was not too much to do every day. It was enough to like want to do it every day, and there were different things to collect, like the cat, was it? Or was it? A
the
pet
fishing.
or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fishing.
So
Yeah.
and also like the clothes and stuff.